been a republic since 1946, but there is an Italian city that still maintains its royal atmosphere. It's Turin, the first capital of the Kingdom of Italy. The capital then moved on to Florence and finally Rome, but the Italian royal family, the Savoia, were from here, Turin. So let's discover this fantastic city. We'll spend 3 days here. In this video, we'll spend 2 days visiting Turin and eating local food, and a third day discovering the outskirts of this beautiful city. Subscribe to my channel for more tips about Italy. Let's start our day in Turin with the Royal Palace, the symbol of a political power when Italy was a kingdom. The Royal Palace is part of a complex of buildings that once belonged to the Italian royal family. The palace is full of extraordinary rooms and stairs. It was built in 1561 when Turin became the most important city of this area. I then moved on to the Royal Armoury, one of the largest collection of weapons and armors in Europe. Here you can find yourself facing a soldier of the past and understanding how difficult it must have been to move around in those metallic clothes. Any king or queen needs a huge park to promenade. So now let's take a look at the Royal Gardens. This is the symbol of Turin. It's called Mole Antonelliana, and you can go right on the top of a tower with an elevator to see a panoramic view over Turin and the Alps mountains. We will do it later if we have some time. Inside the Mole Antonelliana, there is a cinema museum which recalls the history of cinema from its origins. It's an interactive and very fun visit, in my opinion. I've been there. The morning has ended and I'm quite hungry now, so let's go and find some good place to eat. What can I tell you about Turin cuisine? Turin is quite famous for the quality of its meat. So there's a lot of meat in Turin and in the area around Turin, the region called Piedmont. In particular, it's very famous raw meat. I'm not sure I'm gonna try it today because I have some difficulty eating raw food. But let's go and find out. With a very traditional recipe of this area, vitello tonnato, sliced veal covered with a creamy sauce made of anchovies, capers, lemon and pepper. I swear, the sauce is amazing. And then I continued with a typical pasta dish, agnolotti al sugo di brasato, a meat-stuffed pasta immersed in a braised meat sauce. I'm telling you, if you love meat, Turin is the place for you. After lunch, it's time for dessert. Indeed, Turin is famous for the production of chocolate, gianduja and hazelnuts. Let's not forget that Nutella, indeed, was born in a town not far from Turin. Now I'll go to drink bicerin, the special coffee of Turin with, of course, chocolate and whipped cream. Chocolatino, giappalina, gianduja, solo questo. This is the Risorgimento Museum. Risorgimento is the period of time when the unification of Italy happened in the second half of the 19th century. Turin played an important role during the Risorgimento. It can be a nice visit if you are particularly interested in Italian history. Indeed, I'm going in. This is another iconic spot of Turin. It's Carlo Square. Its style copies a little bit the French style because it was a young queen, Maria Cristina from France, who wanted to bring a little bit of her home country here in Italy. Last stop of the day, the Mole Antonelliana. The Mole Antonelliana defines Turin's skyline as it's the highest building of a city center. It was built in 1889 and it was supposed to be a synagogue, but there were some quarrels between the architect and the Jew community, so in the end the municipality bought it. A panoramic lift will take you to the top to admire a fantastic view over Turin and the Alps mountains. Bad news, guys. I forgot to book my ticket. Once that I forget. And of course, it's completely sold out until next week. Remember, book in advance. Good morning, second day. Today I'll continue to explore Turin. I'm still sad that yesterday I couldn't go up the Mole Antonelliana, but I don't despair because locals suggested me to come up here on the Monte dei Cappuccini. It's a bit steep, but I'm gonna do it. You can come by feet here. It's a hill very close to the city center. Those are the majestic Alps Monte. From here we can also see the river Po, another symbol of Turin. I'm gonna go down now and take a stroll along it. The Po River. It's the longest in Italy. It originates in the Alp mountains around here and then it ends in the Adriatic Sea on the opposite side of Italy. We are in Parco del Valentino. It was actually a royal park until the 19th century and then it was open to the public. Before we were up there in the Monte dei Cappuccini. Inside the park you can visit a medieval village created as a permanent feature of the 1884 exhibition by a group of architects and scholars. It's an evocative interpretation of 15th century medieval architecture in Piedmont and the Aosta Valley. So cool! Let's go and see it. Was awesome. Now I still have some time before the day ends, so I'm heading back to the city center for some shopping. Another important museum is this one. It's the Egyptian Museum, and it's the second most important in the world about ancient Egyptian archaeological finds. my favorite part of the day. Let's go to dinner. Tonight I'll try some traditional recipes of Turin in a traditional restaurant of Turin that it's actually not called a restaurant, it's called Piola. I'm so sad. I was craving for tonight to try the famous bagna cauda, that is like a dipping sauce whose main ingredients are garlic and anchovies, and I'm a real fan of garlic. But there's a client who ordered the last one before me. I want to cry. That's the famous raw meat of Piedmont. As I told you, I'm not gonna eat it, but my husband will.
The plate speaks for itself.
This is tajarin, that is a kind of narrow spaghetti they do here, and you can eat it with different sauces. These are gnocchi. Of course you know what gnocchi are. They're not pasta because they're made from potatoes. What's local in this plate is the type of cheese they use, that is Castelmagno, local cheese from the mountains above Turin. I'm a huge fan of cheese, so I think I'm gonna love it. Yeah, I'm gonna love it. I'm enjoying Turin nightlife thanks to my local friend Matteo.
Buongiorno, buonasera, buonasera.
È bellissimo, è perfetto.
Julia, I want to show you this. This is the Porte Palatine, the ancient gate of the city Augusta Taurino.
Very cool.
It was also the first Italian capital.
Oh yes, we said that. Yes, first capital. You see, he's very proud of that because he's from Turin. Good morning, it's our third day. A couple of days are enough to visit Turin, but we decided to stay another day because there are many interesting things to visit around Turin. And today we will start from its top attraction, Venaria Reale. The royal mansion of Venaria Reale was a base for the hunting expeditions of a royal family in the hills north of Turin, but it was also a place to have fun and host luxurious parties for the royal court. It was designed by 5 different architects over the course of 130 years in an explosion of Baroque style. The goddess of hunting, Diana, is worshipped in a room dedicated exclusively to her. But the most beautiful room is the big gallery, a gigantic hall whose whiteness will brighten your eyes. In the stables, you'll find ancient means of transport used by the royal family and a little gem, the only original bucintoro existing on Earth. A bucintoro was the official gondola used by the Doge of Venice to move around the lagoon, and this was given as a present to the King of Turin by the city of Venice. What kind of mansion would be without a massive and beautiful garden? To visit both the royal mansion and the garden, you'll need about 4 hours. And now for the last part of the day, I'll visit one of the symbols of Piedmont region. It's a magical place called Sacra di San Michele. The Sacra di San Michele is a religious complex less than an hour from Turin, built in 1966 by Benedictine monks on top of a rocky crag base. There is a monastery and a church enclosed in a middle-age atmosphere. Up here, you feel so distant from the world. Unfortunately, there's a bit of fog today, but on a clear day from here, you can see a panorama over the valley and the whole city of Turin. The famous stairway of the dead leads to the church. Here, until recent times, skeletons of dead monks were displayed to remind monks and visitors that life is temporary. Spectacular thing is that on a cloudy day, here you are above the clouds and it looks like this. So this was our 3-day itinerary for Turin. If you want more information about things you can do in Piedmont, check out the link I will leave you in the description below. So did you feel the royal atmosphere of the city? Did you like Turin? Let me know in the comments and see you in our next video.